from Battle Creek, Michigan, weighing 232 pounds. He is our current reigning heavyweight champion.
Check out the RVD room. A lot of people don't know, but there's actually about 80 different Rob Van Dam action figures.
These are all you?
These are all Rob Van Dam.
At his peak in 2006, Rob Van Dam became the WWE's world champion in a match that fans still relive online.
I pull myself up to the top rope, up there, and I'm like, oh, yeah, man, this is really gonna happen. All I gotta do is jump on him, and like, boom, and I'm like, yeah.
Cover, what the hell? Yeah, I guess, all right.
So that was, a great moment. Lasted, I guess, 2 weeks.
Right.
Got pulled over for speeding, and I raked like California, but I was in Hanging Rock, Ohio.
You mean you got busted for pot?
Yes.
What do you go by?
Rob Van Dam, RVD.
Oh, okay, I've heard of you.
Yeah.
Do you have any marijuana, guns, knives, drugs, anything like that in the vehicle?
49
Can you explain to me why your car smells like dope?
Do you reflect on like, wow, if it weren't for pot and getting arrested for it and the WWE being like, wait, we can't have our superstar be a pothead, you might have gone on to like huge things.
I explore that thought sometimes,
Sure.
But I'm also comfortable with the fact that I'm on the path I'm supposed to be on.
That path took Van Dam down the cannabis business. He's created his own CBD line and has been speaking out about its health benefits, especially for athletes.
I'm just thinking about an ashtray. We'll use this as an ashtray.
What's it like when you spark that joint after a big match? Like, what does it feel like? What does it do to your body?
The best way I can explain it is it makes me feel like I'm at my best again,
Take me to the time where you're like, I've been a cannabis icon for so long. I've got a whole world, like wrestling, that isn't necessarily synonymous with cannabis at the moment, but could be. When did it click for you, like, gotta start a business?
I was tired of losing friends, you know what I mean? And there was like just one after another, there was always news. It's always either an opiate overdose or suicide. And they always say the suicide is from depression, from the concussions.
You think cannabis is better than maybe a bunch of benzos, a bunch of painkillers, a bunch of other things like that? I mean, I don't want to be too dramatic about this, but like, would you say that cannabis saved your life?
Probably a pretty good chance, actually, yeah.
15 years after Van Dam lost his titles, the WWE still punishes its wrestlers. They get fined $2,500 if they test positive for weed, which is harsher than what most states could hit you with. But wrestlers aren't the only ones who could get in trouble with their boss for using cannabis. Technically, any American could be fired or punished. We spoke to someone who believes from personal experience that should change for both regular folks and wrestlers.
Governor Ventura, it's Krishna. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Governor, you were a legendary professional wrestler and you ran a state. You were a governor and you wrote a book on cannabis. Tell me about your history with pot. Tell me about your history as an advocate and how that interfaced with your role as governor.
I tried to legalize it in Minnesota, but I couldn't get anyone to carry the bill or couldn't get any support on it. I think that today, the people that ban cannabis ought to go to jail rather than the people that use it.
There's so many states that have cannabis legal, especially medical cannabis, but you can still get drug tested by your employer. You can still get either fired or your hours docked, somehow discriminated in some way.
Well, you'll always bow to the federal law. The federal law will take precedence always. If the feds want to push it, cannabis is still illegal.
I talked to Rob Van Dam. He was, punished. He lost the title because he got busted for pot. Have you talked to him at all? You guys are both legends in the world of wrestling and, frankly, legends in the world of cannabis.
In his case, I really don't know why they would do that because cannabis is very good for pain and it's good for sleeping. And when you're on the road as a professional wrestler, there was one time in my career I wrestled 63 consecutive nights in a row. When they talk about labor rules, what job requires you to work 63 days in a row without a day off?
We reached out to the WWE about the allegations in this piece and its cannabis rules. We didn't get any direct answers. Instead, the company's rep gave us a link to its current policy, the one with the $2,500 fine.
You know, we're all here trying to make it, just trying to get to that next level and trying to get noticed. I would say that pot definitely helps me.
When you think about the world of professional wrestling, like what's the top? What's the goal? Where are you trying to get?
Oh man, the goal is WWE. Like that's the be all end all for me. That's, you know, what I grew up watching. You know, like I imagine myself in that ring one day.
Go ahead and throw your weight into it. Like, just stand here and go like this. Boom. Yeah, something like that.
Is it fair on young wrestlers to have the policy the way it is right now?
I think it's as fair as it is to the librarian or the grocery store clerk. Until it's accepted federally, anybody can still argue that it's illegal. WWE has to cater towards the sponsors of the program. Vince is a very, very powerful man. Vince is so worldwide and stuff that he has to go by the federal laws. He can't go by individual state-by-state laws.
But you bring up a good point because it is a broader labor problem that we're talking about. Sure, wrestlers and pot makes sense now, but a lot of people could be punished as a result of doing something that's legal in their state, but the employer might not want them to.
Absolutely.
How important is the work that you're doing now with cannabis to your whole career, to what you're trying to do?
I would rather go down for what I believe than stand for what I don't. Marijuana needs people to speak for it. It doesn't have a voice, and it can help so many people. There's so much unnecessary guilt. There's suicides over guilt because people think that they're doing something bad or wrong, when really it's just people telling them that what they're doing is wrong.